Welcome back to English Gateway. Today we're diving into the extraordinary life of a man who transformed impossible dreams into reality. A visionary who redefined electric cars, revolutionized space travel, and challenged the limits of human innovation. His journey is filled with ambition, setbacks, sacrifices, and incredible success. This is the remarkable story of Elon Musk. Before he became one of the richest and most influential people on Earth, Elon was simply a quiet young boy with an extraordinary imagination. While most children spent their days playing outside, he preferred losing himself in books. Science fiction, technology, and stories about the future fascinated him. Long before the world knew his name, Elon was already imagining rockets, robots, and civilizations living on distant planets. Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. From an early age, it was obvious that he saw the world differently. He was naturally curious, constantly asking questions, and eager to understand how everything worked. His endless curiosity often made him seem different from other children. His parents, Elon Musk, an engineer, and May Musk, a model and nutritionist, encouraged learning in different ways. However, their marriage eventually ended in divorce when Elon was just 9 years old. After the separation, he chose to live with his father, believing it was the right decision. Years later, Elon admitted that this period of his life was far more difficult than he had expected. Despite the challenges at home, Elon never stopped dreaming. He believed there had to be a bigger purpose waiting for him somewhere beyond the life he knew. While many children imagined becoming athletes or movie stars, Elon dreamed about exploring space, inventing groundbreaking technology, and helping humanity build a better future. School wasn't easy for him either, because he was quiet, highly intelligent, and preferred books over sports. Many classmates saw him as an easy target. He was bullied repeatedly and often found himself alone during breaks. One particularly violent incident changed his childhood forever. A group of boys pushed him down a flight of stairs and beat him so badly that he had to be hospitalized. The injuries left lasting physical effects, but they also strengthened his determination. Instead of letting those painful experiences define him, Elon escaped into the world of knowledge. Books became his closest companions. Every page introduced him to new ideas, new inventions, and endless possibilities. Reading wasn't just entertainment. It became the foundation of the future he wanted to create. Then came a moment that would completely change his life. At the age of 10, Elon received his very first computer. Unlike most children who simply enjoyed playing games, he became fascinated with understanding how computers actually worked. Without attending expensive classes or having a personal teacher, he taught himself programming by reading manuals for hours every single day. His passion grew rapidly. Only 2 years later, at the age of 12, Elon created a video game called Blastar. It wasn't just a school project or a hobby. He sold the game's source code to a computer magazine for around $500. For most kids, earning that amount would have been unbelievable. For Elon, it was proof that ideas could become reality through knowledge and persistence. As he entered his teenage years, Elon became convinced that South Africa wasn't the place where he could fulfill his biggest ambitions. His ultimate dream was to move to the United States, the country he believed offered endless opportunities for innovators and entrepreneurs. However, reaching America wasn't simple. Because his mother was originally from Canada, Elon decided to move there first. The transition wasn't glamorous. Life in Canada was challenging, and money was always tight. To support himself, he accepted whatever work he could find. He cleaned industrial buildings, worked on farms, and even carried out physically demanding jobs like cutting logs. None of the work was easy, but every paycheck brought him one step closer to his ultimate goal. Those difficult years taught him valuable lessons about discipline, sacrifice, and resilience. Every obstacle became another reason to work even harder. In 1992, his persistence finally paid off. Elon earned admission to the University of Pennsylvania in the United States, where he studied both physics and economics. These two subjects perfectly reflected his personality. One helped him understand how the universe works, while the other taught him how businesses could change the world. Unlike many students who focused only on passing exams, Elon spent countless hours thinking about humanity's biggest challenges. He wasn't interested in building an ordinary career. His mind was already focused on solving problems that most people believed were impossible. During college, he constantly discussed ideas with friends about renewable energy, the future of the internet, artificial intelligence, and space exploration. While others were planning comfortable careers after graduation, Elon was planning companies that could reshape entire industries. He believed that success wasn't about making money alone. It was about creating something meaningful that could improve life for millions of people. That belief would soon lead him to launch his very first startup, a decision that would mark the beginning of one of the greatest entrepreneurial journeys in modern history. But building a company from nothing would prove far more difficult than he ever imagined. When Elon graduated from college, he wasn't looking for a safe, well-paying job. While many of his classmates were sending resumes to large corporations, Elon had something much bigger in mind. He wanted to build companies that could solve real-world problems and change the future. In 1995, together with his younger brother, Elon Musk, Elon launched his first startup, Zip2. The internet was still in its early days, and very few people understood its true potential. Elon believed that businesses would soon depend on the internet, and he wanted to be part of that revolution. Starting the company wasn't easy. Money was extremely limited. Elon and Kimball rented a tiny office that also became their home. They couldn't afford an apartment, so Elon often slept on the office couch. He showered at a nearby gym and worked nearly every waking hour. Days blended into nights as he wrote computer code, met potential clients, and searched for investors. There were countless moments when it seemed like the company would fail. Many investors rejected the idea, believing the internet was only a temporary trend. Newspapers were also hesitant to adopt digital technology. But Elon refused to quit. His determination slowly began to pay off. Zip2 developed software that helped newspapers create online city guides and business directories. As more companies realized the importance of the internet, demand for their services increased rapidly. After several years of relentless effort, success finally arrived. In 1999, computer manufacturer Compaq acquired Zip2 for approximately $307 million. Elon personally earned around $22 million from the deal. At only 27 years old, he had become a millionaire. For many people, that amount of money would have meant retirement, luxury homes, expensive vacations, and a comfortable life. But Elon wasn't interested in comfort. Instead of slowing down, he immediately invested most of his fortune into another ambitious project. He founded an online financial company called X.com. At the time, sending money online was complicated, slow, and often unreliable. Elon believed banking would eventually move entirely to the internet, and he wanted to build the platform that would make it possible. The idea sounded risky. Many people were uncomfortable trusting their money to an online company. Critics questioned whether anyone would ever use digital payments instead of traditional banks. But Elon believed the future belonged to technology. Eventually, X.com merged with another startup called Confinity. Together, the company evolved into what the world now knows as PayPal. PayPal quickly became one of the fastest-growing online payment services. Millions of people began using it to send and receive money safely across the internet. Then came another life-changing milestone. In 2002, eBay purchased PayPal for $1.5 billion. The sale made Elon extraordinarily wealthy. His personal share was worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Again, he faced a choice. He could enjoy a life of unlimited luxury, or risk everything once more. Most people would have protected their fortune. Elon made the opposite decision, rather than keeping his wealth safely in the bank. He invested nearly all of it into businesses that many experts believed were impossible. One dream had stayed with him since childhood: space. Ever since reading science fiction as a young boy, Elon believed humanity's future depended on becoming a multiplanetary civilization. He worried that relying on a single planet made humanity vulnerable to disasters, and he wanted to help secure our future beyond Earth. With that vision, Elon founded SpaceX in 2002. His goal sounded almost unbelievable. He wanted to build reusable rockets that would dramatically reduce the cost of space travel and eventually carry humans to Mars. The aerospace industry didn't take him seriously. Many experts laughed at the idea that a private company could compete with government space agencies. Building rockets was considered one of the most difficult engineering challenges in history, but Elon ignored the criticism. He assembled a team of brilliant engineers who shared his vision. Together, they worked day and night designing rockets from the ground up. The road ahead was filled with obstacles. The first SpaceX rocket launch ended in failure. The second launch also failed. Then the third mission failed as well. Each explosion destroyed years of hard work and cost millions of dollars. Television networks broadcast the failures, while critics declared that SpaceX was finished. Financially, Elon was approaching disaster. Nearly all of the money he had earned from selling PayPal had been invested into SpaceX and another growing company called Tesla. As the rocket failures continued, investors lost confidence, and Elon found himself running out of cash. The pressure became overwhelming. Employees worried about losing their jobs. Friends questioned whether he should give up. Reporters predicted his companies would collapse within months. At the same time, Elon's personal life was becoming increasingly difficult. His marriage to Canadian author Elon Musk was under tremendous strain. Together, they were raising a growing family, while Elon spent nearly every hour working to save his company's balancing family responsibilities with enormous business pressures became almost impossible. For a brief period, it seemed that everything he had worked for might disappear. His fortune was shrinking. His companies were struggling. His marriage was falling apart. Yet despite the setbacks, Elon refused to abandon his vision. He believed that the greatest breakthroughs often come after the greatest failures. That belief would soon be tested. In the most important moment of his entire career, one final rocket launch remained. If it failed, SpaceX would likely shut down forever. But if it succeeded, it would change not only Elon's future, but the future of space exploration itself. Everything came down to one final opportunity. By 2008, Elon Musk was standing at the edge of financial disaster. Years of failed rocket launches had drained almost every dollar he had earned. Friends advised him to walk away. Investors had lost confidence. Critics were convinced that SpaceX would soon become another failed startup. But Elon wasn't ready to give up. He believed that if people stopped trying after failure, true innovation would never exist. Then came the fourth launch of the Falcon 1 rocket. This wasn't just another test flight. It was SpaceX's last realistic chance to survive. If the mission failed, the company would almost certainly shut its doors forever. Thousands of people watched with anticipation as the countdown reached zero. The engines ignited. The rocket lifted smoothly into the sky. For the first time in the company's history, everything worked exactly as planned. Falcon 1 successfully reached orbit, making SpaceX the first privately funded company to send a liquid-fueled rocket into orbit. It was a historic achievement. For Elon, the success was deeply emotional. Years of sacrifice, sleepless nights, and endless criticism had finally paid off. He later admitted that he couldn't hold back his tears. The victory changed everything. Soon afterward, NASA awarded SpaceX a contract worth approximately $1.6 billion to transport cargo to the International Space Station. The company that many people had laughed at was suddenly being trusted by one of the world's most respected space agencies. At nearly the same time, Elon's personal life was entering another difficult chapter. His marriage with Elon Musk officially ended after years of growing pressure. Although their relationship had come to an end, they remained committed to raising their children together. Later, Elon began a relationship with British actress Tallulah Riley. The couple married in 2010, divorced in 2012, remarried in 2013, and eventually divorced again in 2016. Their relationship reflected the unpredictable nature of Elon's life, filled with ambition, intense work, and constant change. Despite these personal challenges, Elon rarely slowed down. Another company demanded almost all of his attention, Tesla. Although Tesla had been founded by other entrepreneurs, Elon became its largest investor in 2004 before eventually taking over as CEO. His mission was clear: prove that electric cars could outperform traditional gasoline vehicles. At that time, very few people believed electric cars had a future. Critics described them as slow, expensive, and impractical. Major automobile manufacturers dismissed Tesla as a small company with unrealistic ambitions. Elon saw things differently. He believed that transportation needed to become cleaner, smarter, and more sustainable if humanity wanted to fight climate change. The journey was incredibly difficult. Tesla faced manufacturing delays, financial losses, and constant skepticism. Several times the company came dangerously close to bankruptcy, yet Elon continued investing. Both his money and his reputation, his persistence eventually changed the automotive industry. Forever, Tesla introduced groundbreaking vehicles like the Model S, Model X, and later the Model 3, proving that electric cars could be fast, luxurious, and desirable. Demand exploded across the world. Within a few years, Tesla became one of the most valuable automobile companies in history, inspiring nearly every major car manufacturer to invest in electric vehicles. But Elon wasn't satisfied. While transforming transportation and space exploration, he also turned his attention toward solving other global challenges. He launched Solar City, promoting renewable energy through solar power systems designed to reduce dependence on fossil fuels. He founded the Boring Company, aiming to reduce traffic congestion by building underground transportation tunnels beneath busy cities. He also created Neuralink, a company researching brain-computer interfaces that could one day help people suffering from neurological disorders and possibly transform the relationship between humans and artificial intelligence. Another project, OpenAI, was originally established with the goal of encouraging safe and responsible AI development. For the benefit of humanity, Elon constantly pursued ideas that many considered impossible. Some succeeded, others faced criticism, but every project reflected one common belief that technology should improve human life. Around this period, Elon also entered another highly publicized relationship. He began dating musician Grimes, whose real name is Claire Boucher. The couple quickly attracted worldwide attention, not only because of their creative personalities, but also because of their unconventional approach to life. Together, they welcomed children with names unlike anything the public had seen before, including XAA12, often simply called X. Their unique family became the subject of endless media attention. Although their relationship experienced periods of separation and reconciliation, Elon and Grimes continued sharing a mutual passion for creativity, innovation, and challenging traditional ideas. Despite being one of the busiest entrepreneurs on the planet, Elon often spoke about how important his children were to him. He described fatherhood as one of the greatest responsibilities of his life, balancing family with companies that demanded nearly every hour of his day wasn't easy, but he believed his children represented the future he was working so hard to protect. Whether he was designing rockets, building electric cars, or developing advanced technology, every decision pointed toward one larger mission, preparing humanity for tomorrow. And for Elon Musk, tomorrow didn't end on Earth. His greatest dream was still waiting among the stars. That dream would become the driving force behind the next chapter of his remarkable journey, the mission to make human life possible on Mars. Even after transforming multiple industries, Elon Musk believed his greatest achievement still lay ahead. For him, success wasn't measured by wealth or fame. It was measured by how much humanity could progress. And in his mind, the future of humanity depended on one bold idea, becoming a multi-planetary civilization. That vision became the driving force behind Starship, the most powerful rocket ever developed by SpaceX. Unlike traditional spacecraft designed for one-time use, Starship was built to be fully reusable. Elon believed that lowering the cost of space travel was the only way to make life on Mars a realistic possibility. The mission was far from easy. Every prototype brought new engineering challenges. Some rockets exploded moments after launch. Others failed during landing. Videos of massive fireballs spread across social media. And critics once again questioned whether Elon was chasing an impossible dream. But failure never discouraged him. Instead, he treated every unsuccessful test as valuable data. Each mistake helped engineers improve the next design. Elon often reminded his team that every great invention in history required countless attempts before achieving success. Slowly, Starship began making remarkable progress. Successful test flights demonstrated that the dream of sending humans to Mars was becoming more realistic than ever before. Around the world, millions watched each launch with excitement, realizing that history was being written in real time. Yet space exploration wasn't the only future Elon wanted to reshape. He continued expanding the Boring Company, working to solve one of the world's oldest urban problems, traffic congestion. His vision was surprisingly simple. Instead of building more roads above ground, why not create transportation networks beneath cities? The company developed underground tunnel systems where electric vehicles could travel quickly without traffic lights or congestion. While the concept sounded futuristic, Elon believed that solving everyday problems required unconventional thinking. At the same time, Neuralink continued advancing research into brain-computer technology. The company's long-term goal was to help patients suffering from neurological conditions while exploring entirely new ways for humans to interact with technology. Although many of these ideas remain under development, they demonstrate one consistent pattern throughout Elon's career. He doesn't build companies simply because they are profitable. He builds them because he believes they can solve problems that affect millions of people. Of course, such an ambitious life has also brought constant controversy. Elon's outspoken personality has often attracted headlines. His comments on social media have sparked debates, influenced financial markets, and divided public opinion. Some people admire his confidence. Others criticize his leadership style and bold decisions. But regardless of where opinions differ, very few people question the enormous impact he has had on technology, transportation, energy, and space exploration. Throughout his journey, Elon has experienced failures that would have convinced most people to quit. He watched rockets explode. He faced financial collapse. He endured public criticism. He balanced enormous professional responsibilities with a complicated personal life. Yet every setback became another reason to keep moving forward. One of his most famous beliefs perfectly captures his mindset. When something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. That philosophy has guided every chapter of his extraordinary career. Today, Elon Musk continues working toward a future where reusable rockets regularly travel into space. Electric vehicles dominate global transportation. Artificial intelligence is developed responsibly, and humans eventually establish thriving communities on Mars. Whether all of those dreams become reality remains uncertain, but one thing is, beyond doubt, he has already changed the direction of human progress. From a quiet boy who found comfort in books to one of the most influential innovators in modern history, Elon Musk's journey reminds us that extraordinary achievements often begin with ordinary curiosity. His story teaches us that failure isn't the opposite of success. It is often the path that leads to it. Dreams may seem impossible. Today, ideas may be criticized. People may doubt your vision, but history has repeatedly shown that those willing to take risks are often the ones who shape the future. Perhaps the greatest lesson from Elon Musk's life isn't about rockets, electric cars, or billion-dollar companies. It's about believing in an idea so strongly that you're willing to dedicate your life to making it real. As Elon himself once said, some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Those words perfectly summarize the mindset of a man who refused to accept limitations and chose instead to imagine a better tomorrow. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the life of Elon Musk. If you enjoyed this story and found it inspiring, make sure to like this video, subscribe to English Gateway, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next inspiring documentary. We bring you the remarkable stories of visionaries, innovators, leaders, and history makers from around the world. Stories that educate, motivate, and inspire. Until next time, keep learning, keep believing, and never stop chasing your biggest dreams. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.